Very good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Friday edition of Vogan's European Outlook for the 12th of April. This is the current visible satellite imagery over Western Europe at the moment here, and we do have the next approaching weather system moving in from the Atlantic. But before we get there, the temperatures are rising, and we do have a thoroughly pleasant day out there, actually, a real spring-like feel in the atmosphere this afternoon as the southwesterly winds import some nice warm air from the Azores and the Canary Islands here. You can see here this frontal boundary associated with this area of low pressure to the west of the UK and Ireland. You can actually see these kind of little ripples over the land area of the UK. That is the wind bouncing over the hills. And in the sunshine, temperatures certainly are responding. Further south, you can see here kind of milky skies across parts of England and Wales. Thicker cloud now starting to build across Ireland and Northern Ireland, and as well as that across Northern England and Scotland as the afternoon wears on. Further south, we have got clear skies and warm temperatures across France and Spain, as well as Portugal. You can actually see the vapours from aircraft here. That's quite an interesting little capture there by the satellite this afternoon of the vapours from planes in the sky. Just happened to catch my attention there when I was talking there. Looking at the current radar, you can see here that we do have rain moving into parts of particularly southwestern Scotland, into Cumbria, parts of the Republic of Ireland, showers elsewhere across the south and west Highlands, parts of Northern Ireland also seeing showers and perhaps building into longer spells of rain as we progress through this evening. European temperatures are as follows. You can see here that we've got plenty of mild conditions across the UK and Ireland at the moment here, but the warmest conditions in that sunshine as seen by the visible satellite across parts of France were into the low to mid to even high 20s across southern France, and we've got temperatures into the high 20s quite widely, mid to high 20s that is, across Spain and Portugal, as you can see, and it's trimmed back a little bit across Central Europe compared to recent days, but even across southern portions of Norway, Sweden and Finland, we've got temperatures into the mid-teens, so not particularly cold here. Down across the Mediterranean basin, we've got some warmth to speak about across parts of Greece, western Turkey, and then onto the African side of the Mediterranean, you've got the low 20s to speak about at the moment. Looking at the UK, you can see here that we have got 17 Celsius in the north, and we've got the 21 Celsius in and around the London area, across the Essex, parts of North Kent. You can even see a temperature close to 22 Celsius. So by far, this is the warmest day of the year so far in the UK here, and even up across Scotland. We've even got temperatures as high as 18 at Aberdeen Dice Airport, thanks to that west to southwesterly wind crossing the Grampians, creating an element of firn effect this afternoon. You can see here that we've got slightly cooler temperatures on the windward side of the hills, but once you cross over those hills, you can see the temperatures responding, especially with the sunshine. This is the month to date, so as of the 12th of April, this is the temperature anomalies across Europe. Only central and northern Scandinavia is holding on to the blues, representing below average conditions. Look at Europe, very, very warm conditions, especially central and eastern portions of Europe. Temperatures well above average, running probably record breaking for the first half of April anyway, across the majority of Europe and even the UK and Ireland here. We started off the first 3 or 4 days below average across really from the central belt northwards. We've now removed that and we've went above average. So warmer and wetter than average continues to be the theme as we go through towards the middle portions of the month. Looking at the CFSv2 today, you can see here this is the upcoming 7-day 2 meter temperature. This is the upcoming precipitation anomaly for the next 7 days. You can see here it's wetter than average across northwestern UK here, drier than average across the bulk of England, Wales and the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, wetter than average as well. But the models are consistent in terms of the drier theme as we move towards the middle portions of the month onwards here. This is week 2, and then into week 3, you can see here that arguably it's close to average in terms of rainfall. This takes us all the way out to the 3rd of May, by the way. Looking at the temperature anomalies, this is interesting actually because this is a little bit of a difference compared to the GFS Ensemble. The upcoming 7 days is looking like this here, firmly warmer than average across the board, including the UK and Ireland here. But week 2, while the GFS Ensemble trends a little bit cooler, the CFSv2 does not see that. This is week 2, and then this is week 3, so warmer than average through the remainder of April here. But if we look at the GFS Ensemble, you can see a slightly different approach to that. So you can see here, this is the upcoming 5-day anomaly here. Now remember what's happening here. We're going to see the high pressure shifting from Europe out towards the Atlantic. Northwesterly winds is going to bring a trim in the temperature. We are going to feel a notable difference really as we go through Saturday and Sunday here, as the winds shift direction and we pull something more of a kind of late winter chill, so to speak. But you can see here, this is the upcoming 5 days. Southern Europe, warmest compared to average, but warmer than average across the board here. Look at here as the trend shifts 13th through the 18th, the 14th through the 19th. You can see here the downward trend in the GFS Ensemble here, which is quite interesting. And then really Central Europe really starts to turn considerably cooler. Bear in mind, this is the front running 12 days of April. And this is what we expect to see between the 17th and the 22nd of April. A notable shift in terms of temperature anomaly compared to what we've seen. But look at the difference between the GFS and the CFSv2. So we go back to the CFSv2, it is not picking up that colder than average. So what do you believe? Yeah, that is the difficulty in terms of forecasting, in terms of what we could expect to see take place. Let's have a look quickly and see what the latest 850s are looking like for off the GFS. Because what's interesting about this is you can see the type of air mass that we're going to be dealing with here. Let's have a look and see actually the snow prospects here. Is it picking up any snow in the next few days according to the GFS? I've actually not looked at this here. It's picking up slightly over the tops of the Cairngorms, for example. Then by the time we reach the early portions of next week, it is picking up snow over the central and west highlands. The reason why is if we look at the 850s, you can see here the air mass change. So let's look at the broader picture here because you get a better handle in terms of the source region of the air. This is the current situation. So we've got southwesterly winds with sunshine. Temperatures are responding in that mid-April sunshine. But as we progress into the weekend, you can see here that we see a decrease in the temperature, and we actually have some relatively cold air at the 5,000 foot level moving in, and that subtle shift from west southwest to west northwest, and you've got a completely different type of air mass and a different feel to the air with wintry showers in the mix here as well. And then as we continue to play through the loop, you can see here that we continue to have that northwesterly flow, courtesy of that high centered over the central North Atlantic here. So definitely have a notable chill in the air coming up this weekend and into next week. And then even as we move towards the middle portions of next week, we still hold on to that northerly airflow, courtesy of the position of the high. But with that position of high pressure, we've got drier conditions overall. So a very different pattern evolving as we move into the weekend and into early next week here. We'll continue to look at that as we go through the next few days. As per usual, no video tomorrow, but I will have the live stream 4:30 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. We'll look at this briefly. We'll look at the summer forecast. We'll look at the Atlantic hurricane season and the global picture as well in the live stream this upcoming Sunday. There is a link for that video in the description below, so you can click on that at your leisure. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you hopefully at 4:30 on Sunday. Bye for now.